Hi everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Today is Tuesday, March 30th, and I have your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Thank you for choosing to be here to get filled in on what's happening here in Northeast Ohio. We start off with an update out of Cleveland about a 4-year-old boy who was taken to Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital after what has been described as physical abuse by a teacher, physically abusive behavior, allegedly, by a teacher. Cleveland EMS tells 3 News that the child is in stable condition right now. This is after an incident that allegedly happened at St. Agatha St. Aloysius School in Cleveland. Here's what the school said. They said, "Today, police responded to an allegation that one of our teachers engaged in physically abusive behavior." Went on to say that the accused teacher has been placed on administrative leave that's pending the outcome of an investigation by civil authorities. This is a developing story. We'll have more on WKYC.com and on our newscast throughout the day as we get more information. Now, today in Minneapolis, this is day 2 of the murder trial for Derek Chauvin, the officer who is accused of murdering George Floyd back on May 25th. Today, the jury heard testimony from the young woman who used her cell phone to show the world what happened to George Floyd. Her name, Darnella, she was 17 at the time. She's the person who took the video and posted it on Facebook of Derek Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck that went across the internet that so many people saw. She was called on as a witness, and she cried on the stand, and she said this. She says, "It's been nights I stayed up apologizing to George Floyd for not doing more and not physically interacting with him, not saving his life." Now, her 9-year-old cousin who was with her that night also testified for about 5 minutes after the fact, and the defense did not cross-examine the 9-year-old. As a reminder, Chauvin is charged with second-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter, and third-degree murder in the death of George Floyd. There will be 2 more young witnesses who are either currently under the age of 18 or were at the time of Floyd's death. They'll be testifying after the lunch break, and audio of those witnesses will be broadcast but not video due to the fact that they are so young. Now, before Darnella and her cousin took the stand, the state and the defense finished questioning MMA fighter Donald Wynn Williams II. He's the person who can be heard on that video, which was taken by Darnella, telling the officers to check the pulse of George Floyd. We'll bring you more as we have it. Of course, we've got continuing coverage on WKYC.com and our WKYC app of the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Back here in Northeast Ohio, Lake County is holding COVID-19 max vaccination megapods is what they're called. And what they expect is to be able to provide thousands of people doses of the COVID-19 vaccine at these mega point of dispensing sites, or megapods. So PODS stands for point of dispensing. Now, the first megapod will vaccinate 5,000 people. That'll be held tomorrow, March 31st, at Mentor High School, but that's already full. But they do have another one planned, and that'll be April 7th at Lakeland Community College. And right now there are 3,000 open appointments for that pod. Again, that's April 7th, Wednesday, April 7th, next Wednesday at Lakeland Community College. We have the link on WKYC.com to register for an appointment there, and you'll be registering through ArmorVax, which is something that many of the local places have been using. I can tell you, for example, I was just checking out appointments in Stark County, and they're using ArmorVax to schedule for vaccination appointments. Now let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers across the globe, across the U.S., and here in Ohio. Globally, these numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. The total number of cases is now at 127,880,539. The total number of deaths is now at 2,796,431. Across the U.S., the total number of cases is now at 30,349,019, and the total number of deaths is now at 550,371. Now, with 4% of the global population, the U.S. leads the percentage of cases and the percentage of deaths by a lot. We have 23.7% of the cases and 19.7% of the deaths. Now, those numbers have ticked down just a little bit by tenths of percentage points as we've been following those numbers, but still, by far, the most in the world are here in the U.S. We've got the latest numbers from the Ohio Department of Health. Here in Ohio, we've seen another large increase in COVID-19 cases. The total number of cases in the last day is 2,458 new reported. And we do have new death numbers from the Ohio Department of Health today. It's an increase of 83 more reported deaths since we last got information on Thursday, bringing that total number now to 18,609 Ohioans who have reportedly died related to COVID-19. We've seen 151 new hospital admissions in the last day. That's up from yesterday. And 975 people are currently in the hospital being treated for COVID. That's also up from yesterday. Right now there are 251 people being treated in an ICU. That's out of those 975 who are in the hospital. And a total of 7 new ICU admissions in the last 24 hours. That's down from yesterday. Taking a look at the vaccination picture, here in Ohio, over 16% of Ohioans are fully vaccinated. That's more than 1.9 million people, and almost 29,400 people became fully vaccinated in the last day. Over 28% of Ohioans have started the vaccination process. That's more than 3.3 million people here in Ohio, and over 46,600 people in the last day have gotten at least that first appointment, that first shot of either the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine. Now, jobs have been impacted a lot over the course of the pandemic. If you are looking for a new job and if you're thinking about starting a family, here's one you might want to consider, because Volvo is now offering 24 weeks of paid parental leave, and that will start April 1st. This is the new family bond policy is what it's being called. Goes into effect April 1st. It will give employees who have worked for the company for at least a year 80% of their base pay by default for 24 weeks. Volvo said in a press release that this applies to either parent, and the leave can be taken any time within the first 3 years of parenthood. That's a pretty expansive option there. And to make it even more expansive, this also applies to adoptive, foster care, and surrogate parents, as well as non-birth parents in same-sex couples. Now, Volvo is a Swedish company, but this is a new global policy, and the company says it's more inclusive and supportive than any existing policies around the world. Now, I'm not sure if that's objectively true, but it definitely sounds like it. This is quite an expansive policy. Volvo's chief executive, Hakan Samuelsson, said, "We want to create a culture that supports equal parenting for all genders." If you are looking for work as well, Home Depot is hiring in Northeast Ohio, and they're hiring a lot of people. There are more than 900 positions available. This is across the Cleveland, Akron, and Canton area. And these positions include customer service, filling online orders that are picked up curbside or in store, and then unpacking overnight things that come into the store, and also merchandising throughout the store, going through and making sure everything is cleaned up where it needs to be, making sure the products are facing front and all of that good stuff. Now, if you're interested in applying to this, you can text the word jobs to 52270, or you can apply online at careers.homedepot.com, and again, we have all that information linked on wkyc.com. All right, now let's turn our attention to baseball with opening day for the Tribe on Thursday, April 1st, against the Detroit Tigers. That'll be away. That'll be in Detroit. So we know now the 26-man roster that the Tribe has settled on. We know the starting pitchers will be Shane Bieber, Zach Plesac, and Aaron Savali locked in as the top 3. And then also the Tribe has decided to go with Logan Allen, Tristan McKenzie, and Cal Quantrill on the Major League roster. Now, they were able to do this because on Sunday, the Tribe traded pitcher Adam Plutko to the Baltimore Orioles, so they were able to keep Allen, McKenzie, and Quantrill at the big league level rather than sending them to one of the minor league alternate sites to get the season started. And we do know that Allen will start the Tribe's 4th game of the season, which is the home opener, which is at Progressive Field, which is on Monday, April 5th, and you'll be able to watch that right here on Channel 3. So keep an eye out for that. We've got lots of special programming happening that day. It is going to be a fun one. And if you want to see the full 26-man roster for the Tribe to start off the season, you can check that out at wkyc.com. Now let's turn our attention to football and the Cleveland Browns. And we have learned that free agent defensive end Jadeveon Clowney visited with the Browns last week. So our 3 News Sports analyst Ben Axelrod has taken a look at that, and he's come up with the 3 reasons why the Browns should sign Clowney. Number 1, we need him, or we need someone at defensive end. Olivier Vernon is now a free agent, and he suffered that torn Achilles in the 2020 regular season final game. So the Browns do still need someone full-time to start opposite Myles Garrett at defensive end. Clowney could fill that void. Number 2, he's ranked well. He's a 2-time Pro Bowl selection, and he is graded by Pro Football Focus as the number 19 edge defender last season, 1 spot ahead of Olivier Vernon, who we currently have. And he's also played in multiple schemes throughout his NFL career. So that would increase the versatility of Cleveland's defensive line. And number 3, he could be a bargain player. Now, this is something to consider when we're looking at all the players who are eligible for those long-term extensions. We're looking at Baker Mayfield. We're looking at Nick Chubb. We're looking at Denzel Ward. So a bargain sounds pretty good, right? Well, last season, the Browns reportedly offered Clowney more than any other team when he was a free agent last season. Now, this year, though, the market for edge defenders seems to have dried up a little bit. We're now more than 2 weeks into free agency. Clowney remains unsigned, and other high-performing players at that position are also unsigned, like Melvin Ingram and Justin Houston. Now, Pro Football Focus had previously projected Clowney to be in line for a 1-year, $13 million salary, but Spot Track is now projecting about half of that, about $6.5 million. I just think it's funny that we're talking about $6.5 million as a bargain, but in the world of professional football, it is a bargain, and that might be a hard buy for the Browns to pass up if that works out, of course, for Clowney. And it seems like the Browns are a hot ticket right now, and it's great to say that people actually want to be here. So those are the reasons, according to our 3 News sports analysts, that Clowney should be signed by the Browns, should go after him, should sign Clowney. You can read a little bit more about his insight into that at WKYC.com. And if you're a fair person, listen up to this. One more story for you today. The date has been set for Cuyahoga County Fair, and that will be August 10th through the 15th. Now, if you can't wait that long, there will also be, this is very cool, a fair food drive-through. Yes, you can get your funnel cakes, you can get your fair fries, you can get your steak on a stick. I used to love steak on a stick. I would go to the fair just for that. I don't eat meat anymore, but when I did, I was going to the fair just for that. So that will be on Saturday, May 1st and May 2nd from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. That'll be in Berea at the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds. And you can get your fair food fix that way and get yourself excited for the August 10th through 15th actual fair. Now, right now, we do know that the state's guidance for fairs includes keeping distance, limiting grandstand audiences to 30%, requiring masks, and all of that good stuff. But we have heard, hopefully, that the state will be in a better place by August. That's what officials are hoping. Although, I will say, again, the cases are up today. So we got to double down. We have to recommit to those public health measures. That's what all the doctors are saying. That's what our director of our CDC is saying. So keep that in mind. But the takeaway here is, if things go as planned, the Cuyahoga County Fair will be fully operational from August 10th through the 15th, and you can get that drive-through fair food on May 1st and 2nd. So we'll end it on that. That is it for your 3 News Now update for Tuesday, March 30th. I'll see you next up on What's New with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment. And hey, if you are outside today enjoying this beautiful weather, make sure you send us a photo or a video. You can do that through the WKYC app, and I'll be showcasing all of you having a great time out in this beautiful weather today in Clicking in Cleveland on What's New. Between now and then, everyone stay safe and be well, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for more 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney.